You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Well, let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday. Yes, it is 12th day of June 2017. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you spent some quality time with your family. I saw you in church yesterday, so that was good as always. But here we are, the beginning of a new week. Now, Friday afternoon, my goodness, what a riotous time that was. Have a look here at the NASDAQ. I mean, a lot of this happened after the show was even finished. And what a great show we had on Friday. Jason Hummel joined us, and now it has been said by Mark Faber that when it comes to silver, Jason's one of the 3 smartest guys in the room. On Friday, I think he was one of the most courageous men in the room. He bared his soul. He took us on a journey from his multimillionaire status to his 3 months at the Betty Ford Clinic, and the past couple of years where he's been on a journey to maintain his sobriety and regain his health in what some of us would consider some rather unorthodox manners. So it was one of the best shows CFRN has ever produced. If you missed it, go to emini.cfrn.net, or you can go to youtube.com/CFRN. Fast forward to the beginning of hour 2. That's when Jason joined us for what was supposed to be a 30-minute conversation and turned into about an hour and 45 minutes. So don't worry, you won't get bored. And I think there will be people who were in. I think there were people in the audience Friday, and people who will listen to that podcast, that recording, years from now, who will be touched by it, and perhaps their life even saved, because he really laid it out there. Takes courage. Now, look at this. On Thursday night, we sent an email to the partners, and we said, on the NASDAQ, consider selling 58.76. This was just prior to the partners workshop Thursday night. We dropped through 58.76 on the NASDAQ. We fell 207 points at $20 per point. That's $4,140 per contract available. And as you know, the NASDAQ, along with the S&P, the Dow, and the Russell, you can trade them for $500 per contract. Now, granted, this was an unusual day, and most of the markets, well, actually, even the NASDAQ staged a bit of a recovery on Friday afternoon. But as I wrote last night on the blog, that I thought that retracement that we saw late Friday was simply the setup for another leg down. We got a leg, very shallow retracement, leg, very shallow retracement, leg, and now we're back up at the BBC again on the 30-minute chart. Are we going to go down and at least test 56.40, 45 again? Yeah, I think we might. Now, remember, we never get out at the exact swing high or the exact swing low. Why? Very simple. We trail our stop and or trade to a fixed target. Either way, you're always going to leave a little something on the table. Now, on Friday, let's say you were in this trade, and once we hit the $1,000 mark for the day, you tightened up your stop real good, the way I've taught you. And it bounced back for a moment and knocked you out with $800. And you're like, oh, okay, that's better than some things that happen to me from time to time. And then you came back into your office later in the afternoon and saw that after you got stomped out with $800 profit per contract, the doggone thing had dropped over $4,000. Now, I wrote about this on the blog last night. If, when you saw that, if you felt any emotion other than joy, we need to talk. Book a mentoring session. You got to get your mind right, okay? You're always going to leave a little something on the table. I call it, leaving something for the next guy, good karma, whatever. Get used to it. It's as much a part of trading as getting stopped out, okay? Remember, what we teach you is the truth about trading, not the fantasies, the hopes, the dreams, the fur coats, the gold teeth, and the Bentleys. No, this is the real deal. This is the real world where real traders earn and lose money on a daily basis, okay? But I just had to show you the spectacular nature of that drop in the NASDAQ. Now, I want to pop back over to this ES chart. I said Friday this was the last time you would see the June contract because we're now trading September. But man, this is so gorgeous. I'm going to show it to you one more time, and then I'll roll this thing over to September. Not last night, but the previous Sunday night, that was the Globex Open, okay, right here where the little yellow arrow is. We opened up into a weekly trading zone. Now, as I've told you many times, 3 things happen when we hit a weekly trading zone. We've been publishing these since December 14th, 2009, but only one of 3 things can happen. The first and most likely thing is consolidation. Some people would call that coiling. These are 30-minute actually, I've got it on an hourly right now so I could fit everything into the picture I took last night. So there's 1, 2, 3 hours of coiling right inside of a 1-point range, and then we just kind of, consolidate above it. And then what do? We make a run from zone to zone, back down to the zone, back up to the zone, back down to the zone. Now, friends, prices have been doing this since before we began publishing the zones to the public. Michael and I traded them together for a while to just see, like, man, is this real? And then I went back in time, back in history, and yeah, the theory held all the way back to the beginning of the markets. So we knew we had something real, and that's when we began to publish them. Now, last week the zones were pretty narrow. This zone was 34.35, and this zone was 39.40. On a typical week, zones will be anywhere from 8 to 20 points wide, okay? But this, and I wrote on the blog last night that you've just come through some of the worst trading days and weeks that you'll probably ever see. For many, many years, the S&P 500 has averaged a daily range of 20 points. Yet, over the last few weeks, we've seen days where the weekly range didn't give us 20 points. So, Friday seemed to be a breakthrough day. However, whenever you have a wide-ranging day like Friday across all market sectors, the following day will often be a day of quiet consolidation as the market begins or prepares for its next big move. Because what happened, the severity of what happened Friday afternoon happened after the London markets closed, the first opportunity that London stock traders had to address this situation, not futures traders but stock traders, was at the London Open, 3 a.m. this morning Eastern. So we'll get into that a little later and take a look at what happened when London opened this morning. But you can be assured there were some very anxious traders Friday night and all day Saturday. They were staring out the window, and the kids and the wife kept saying, "Honey, what's wrong?" And they just said, "Nothing," with this blank stare, because they knew that they had to get in the office Monday morning, which is 3 a.m. Eastern our time, and assess the damage on their portfolios. But hey, that's the truth about trading. All right, back to last week's zones. We get back down to the zone. Well, now this was 4 points, okay? So let's not sell it short. After the consolidation, we go 4 up, 4 down, 4 up, 4 down. That's 16 S&P points, okay? We then consolidate, and what do? We move to the zone below. Price will always, after consolidation, attempt to move to the zone overhead or the zone below. It depends upon whether there are more buyers or sellers in the marketplace. It's really that simple. How long does it consolidate? sometimes an hour, sometimes two. We've seen it consolidate in a 1-point range for as much as 18 to 24 hours. Again, until more buyers than sellers or more sellers than buyers show up, that's what it's going to do. It's going to roll sideways until somebody tips the scales. And right here, somebody tipped the scales. This would be Tuesday of last week. And this zone went from 34 down to 28, so that's 6 points. 6 S&P points. So we went from zone to zone, back up to the zone, back down to the zone, back up to the zone. Remember, zones are an area, much like fibs. Yes, it puts an exact number on the chart, and we often, get accustomed to price touching it to the tick, but sometimes we'll come a tick or two short. So we had 6, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 14 times we went from zone to zone. 14 times 6 times $50 per point. $4,200 per contract. You going to get it all? No. But can you get some of it? You better believe you can. All right. Now, on Google, search CFRN weekly trading zones. You'll find a ton of articles. At the top of the search page, click on images, and you'll see charts going all the way back to 2009. And you'll go, man, that looked just like the charts today. That's the whole point. Now, I said one of 3 things happens when price hits a zone. It either consolidates or it gets rejected. That's number 2. There is a number 3. You see how this came down, touched the zone, and ran? It's like it touched a hot stove. Okay, that's rejection. That's rejection. That's consolidation. Now, what do you call this? That's a hot knife through butter. It slices through as if it weren't even there. Typically what will happen when we have wide-ranging zones is if we slice through a zone, we will come back to that zone and just kind of double check to make sure that in this case it really is going to be good support, and then off we go. It looks a little something like this, followed by this, followed by that. If it's a short trade, it's that same pattern upside down. And once we hit this area, we are cleared for takeoff. And on a wide-ranging zone, you have plenty of room for price to break out, come back, test, and then do its very best to make it all the way to the zone. Now, in a situation like this zone, where we go from 16 to 27, that's 11 points, even if there aren't enough buyers to push it all the way to the zone, you can almost take it to the bank that there will be enough buyers to push it far enough to allow you to get your goal for the day. And remember, once you have your goal for the day, put the stinking mouse away. Okay? That and that alone has destroyed more potentially great traders than any other one thing I know of. So here we go, consolidating inside of a 1-point zone once again. And then on Friday, we run up to this zone, tag it to the tick, and then the big sell-off comes. All right, and it starts, remember, London closes at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. The route started at 11. At 11:30, London closes, and then remember these are hourly candles for the moment. I'll go back to my typical 30-minute in a second. All of this. Right down to the zone. Bang. And then on the bounce back up, we overshot it. We did pull back to the zone, but it failed the test of good support. And now we're trading 24.75. So that was an incredibly wild ride. It was, in fact, some of the best volatility that we have seen in these markets in a very, very long time. If you go to emini.cfrn.net, you can see the picture of the chart I just showed you. If you click the chart, it'll blow it up big just like this. Okay. Now keep in mind that the zones for each week are given to the CFRN partners on Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, before Wall Street even wakes up, so everybody can get their charts ready. The theme is quite simple: zone to zone to zone to zone. Once price reaches a zone, it must only make up its mind if the buyers and sellers currently in the market support a move to the zone above or the zone below. Some partners actually just trade the zones and leave the rest alone. I designed them originally, and Michael and I implemented them to be a backdrop to what we teach you in the live training room. If you've not taken a free trial before or in the last 6 months, you can go to apply.cfrn.net. You'll gain access to the live training room. You'll be able to download a demo platform and our proprietary indicators, and you'll actually get the weekly trading zones for this week. Now, I will reveal this week's zones to the general community on Thursday's show, as I do each and every week. So I just had to walk you through that because for me, and I know everyone's not as gung-ho as I am, but that's like a work of art for me. I mean, I would hang that puppy in the Louvre, but when we were in Paris, my wife didn't want to go to the Louvre, so I had a lot of stuff I wanted to hang. I probably got arrested. If you want to take the Concierge Trade Alert trial, make sure you use this link, because with this link, yes, you'll still pay the $1, but there's no automatic rollover, and it does give you access to the training room for the week. You can use our indicators, learn about our strategy, which we haven't changed a thing in 5 years. Not a time frame, not an indicator, not the strategy itself, because if it's not broke, we don't fix it. Now, if you scroll down a little further, I want you to read this article, Your Future in Futures. Partner update on weekly trading zones. You should probably read that as well if you're a partner. Oh, partner alert. A new mentoring session was added to the library on Friday. Just go to the members area and click on the mentoring session library. I had a partner who has been very successful and very profitable swing trading options for quite a number of years. He's now decided to add futures to his trading toolbox, and we're honored that he chose us to come to for his education. These are some of the things we discussed during this session, and it's all recorded and waiting for you in the members area. Number one, he had annotated his Euro chart masterfully. We talked about what is the highest possibility trade setup, our momentum trades for everyone. Can you use a higher time frame to increase probability, still executing on your 4-tick range, but just kind of bouncing your thoughts off of a higher time frame? This trader demonstrated to me, and you'll pick up on it if you go and watch the video, great patience, incredible discipline, and that's 2 parts of the trader's trifecta. Part 3 is, of course, a personal mentor. So at this point, he has all 3 legs of the stool. So all of this and more. It was a truly great session. And in fact, as soon as we started the session, he says, I know you like to record these, and it's okay. And so at the end, I double checked. I said, is it okay if I put it in the library? He goes, if you think anyone could benefit from what we talked about, sure. And I'm like, are you kidding me? People will be benefiting from this 3 to 5 years from now. Something I'm making a point of doing with these mentoring sessions is I take notes and I try to give you a real good idea of what each session is about. And also, if you don't want your session recorded, we won't. Or if you want it recorded just for you, for your own personal use, I will accommodate you on that as well. Now, I got a message over the weekend from one of our partners. He said, thought you might like this, was using market replay on my iPhone 7 with Chrome remote desktop. CFRN. You can take it anywhere. And there's our discussion last week with Wayne Jett. And here's the interview. I don't know how it got pushed so far down so quick, but this was the interview from Friday with Jason Hommel. So again, Mark Faber called him one of the smartest 3 guys in the room when it comes to silver. But after Friday's show, I think you'll agree he's one of the most courageous guys in the room. All right. Enough of all that. I know Michael's waiting to get in here and do a recap of the live training room, everything that happened today. Let me just run by the numbers for you real quick on the cash markets. Now, I should have told you this at the beginning of the show. If you can't see all of those charts I was just showing you, whoops, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side, click the big microphone. Follow the instructions where it says Watch Live Now. Click that. You only have to register once each month. Every other day for the rest of the month, you'll get an email that says the show starts at noon. When you're ready to join, click here. So register once, 30 seconds, and then 1-click access for the rest of the month. Or you can take the other way out and just go to youtube.com/CFRN. You can see the charts there, and you'll also have access to the chat box. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at the numbers real quick, and then we'll go to Michael. Here in the U.S., the Dow is down 64 points. NASDAQ is down 58. S&P 500 is down 9. And the Russell 2000 is down a little over 2. In our commodity basket, crude oil is up 46 cents, trading $46.29. Gold down $3.80, trading $12.67.60 last. In the European markets, the FTSE closed down today 15 points. The DAX closed down 125 points. That's almost 1%. And the CAC closed down 59 points, and that is over 1%. Last but not least, the Asian markets. Nikkei closed down 104 points. That's over half of 1%. Shanghai was down 18 points. Again, over half of 1%. And the Hang Seng, hold on to your hat, down 322 points. That's over 1.25%. And my take on that is simply that Asia and Europe are red, sort of in sympathy for what happened here in the U.S. on Friday. And here at home, everything is red wall to wall. The only green on my screen is actually crude oil, trading 46.30 last, up 47 cents on the day, just over 1%. Now, John will be joining us later in the show. An old friend, Pastor Dave, he might be dialing in at the top of the hour. When I had an office with 50 employees in downtown Phoenix, he used to pop in once a week, and we had what we called God's time for the employees. We left them on the clock. We had this huge room. All 50 of us would gather. We'd hold hands. We'd pray. And some days I would speak. Some days some of the employees would speak. And a couple days a week, I had hired guns like Pastor Dave come in and for just 30 minutes, just share the good news. And some days when nobody felt like speaking, we'd just hold hands and go around the circle and share our praise reports, or if somebody needed prayer, we would pray for them. And those were some of the most wonderful half hours that I have ever spent. I'll never forget one Christmas we were having, I guess, a Christmas party, and I had an old school video recorder, the kind you carried on your shoulder, and I went around the office in a relaxed atmosphere, asking people, how you doing, how's life treating you since you came to work here at Henriette, and I got various reactions, mostly positive. And this one young fellow, when I got to him, he didn't even give me a chance to ask a question. He just held up his crossed wrists in front of the camera and said, "Look, Ma, no cuffs." And that was obviously quite meaningful to him, and I wept later. So we had so many life-changing stories happen down in that 6,000 square foot basement. It was just unbelievable. The fact that God allowed me to play a small part in all that. He allowed me to start it off my kitchen table in a house with no air conditioning in Phoenix, Arizona, which, by the way, if I sound a little grumpy, it's because my air conditioner's broken. And I'm sitting upstairs amongst all these computers and all these big screens, and it's a little warm. I called my good friend from church who owns an air conditioning repair company, and I said, "Oh, Tom, brother, you got to help me, man. My air conditioner upstairs went out, and it's going to be very difficult to work and produce the show tomorrow." He said, "Dwayne, earliest I can get to you is late tomorrow afternoon." I said, "No, Tom, it's Dwayne. We usher together. I used to sit on the board, long hair, ponytail." He's like, "Dwayne, I'm sorry. I do have other customers." I'm like, "Okay, you can get other friends too, pal." No, I didn't say that, but the little, how you the angel on one shoulder and the other guy on the other shoulder. Yeah, that's how he felt. But it's not that bad. Hey Jeff, so why'd you leave? You come in and then you leave. That's uncool. So tomorrow, my old friend Jeff, my first bromance, he's going to come on the show at, I believe, 1 o'clock. And he says we can talk about anything except investing. I said, okay, that's fair. I worked for him when I was probably 21. He's a couple years older than I am. But this guy had it all. He was the manager of the call center, and he had the girl. He had the apartment overlooking the lake. He had a brand spanking new company car, a Corvette. Boy, did I want to be him when I grew up. Now, at the time, I was knocking down $1,000 a week, and this was in the early 80s. So I gotta believe if I was knocking down $1,000, he had to be knocking down somewhere between 5 and 10. I don't know. I was never rude enough to ask him, but we went for many, many years without seeing each other, and then he popped back into my life for a few months, and then he disappeared, and then lo and behold, I found him on the internet, and he's one of the most prodigious writers out there. His last name is Prager, first name Jeff, and I don't think he has any privacy controls on his Facebook page, but you can go and read some of the stuff he's written. And yes, he will be a voice that doesn't agree with everything I say. And you know what? We need some of that. That makes for really good radio. Okay? So I am looking forward to it. Maybe Pastor Dave will make it in today, maybe not. He's kind of a technophobe, but I got the message to him through his daughter. But Jeff, I do believe he's finishing up an ebook on ketosis today. So he's a bit into health, just as our guest on Friday was. But I'm not sure what topics we'll cover. But if you have any hot button questions that you want to throw at somebody on the other side of the aisle, this might be your chance. Okay. All right. With all of that, which I know has been a lot, let's go to Michael, who I haven't forgotten, waiting in the wings to take the screens and the microphone, the camera, the makeup man.
Oh, goodness, I haven't changed the name.
Catering, everything. And he will go through everything that happened in the live training room today. The good, the bad, even the ugly, because we sweep nothing under the carpet. When we have a great day, we're, happy. It's natural. When we have a rough day, well, that's the truth about trading. And as I wrote on the blog last night, to those of you that are relatively new to trading, the last couple weeks, I don't know, maybe even couple months, have been some of the most difficult trading times that I think I've seen since I began trading futures in 2005 when I left the world of equities. Would you agree with that, Michael?
Yeah.
It probably shows up in our recap.
It does. I mean, I'll show you. I'll show you right here. When we look at the spreadsheet, look at our monthly average, 3,400. Again, if you look at the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. But see, we haven't had any big months yet this year, ever since Trump was elected. If you go look at last year, the same time, our first month of the year last year, 7,100, then 5,700, then May was 5,700, June was 5,300.
Now remember, that's based on one contract, only trading 2 hours a day in front of a live audience. If we don't trade it in front of the live audience during those 2 hours, it does not get added to the spreadsheet.
That's so you can see, so far this year it's been flat. There hasn't been the same volatility that we're used to.
And we thought Trump was going to be good for the markets, and I'm not saying he's been bad for the markets, because we are, probing all-time highs, but where we've been at this flat top for so long, buyers are afraid to buy, sellers are afraid to sell, and so you got a bunch of computers out there pinging back and forth, playing this insane game of Pong, and Friday the dam broke. But again, what's our range? Can you give me a daily range on the S&P when you get a chance today, what we've seen so far?
Yeah, let me flip it to a bigger time.
Because as I told you earlier and wrote last night, for many, many years, as far back as I can find, the average daily range for the S&P, that's from the low of the day to the high of the day, averaged 20 points. What do we got today?
Yeah, we're about half that right now.
Okay. See, we got
10 points.
Half. And see, that other half can make all the difference in the world. But now, look at that chart, okay? While it did go point the high, okay, the high of the session is there,
There.
and then the low of the session is there,
Right there.
right? But then see how it bounced right back up? So if
and
it's
right
10
back down.
points down, so you probably got 8 points back up, and you probably got 6 points back down. Now, if you're trading the S&P, your goal is only to pick up. What time frame is that? 15 minutes?
Yeah, this is a 15-minute
So
time frame.
inside of those 15-minute candles, you have no idea how many times that thing, ran up, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, deeper retracement, that kind of thing. I mean, a lot can happen inside of a 15-minute candle. And inside of a 30 and an hourly, a whole lot can happen. However, when you do go to that bigger time frame, as Michael did with the 15-minute, it takes you out of that tick vortex where you kind of lose touch with reality. I mean, everything, it looks like you're in a land of giants when you're in the 4-tick range vortex. However, when you pull back to a 30-minute or an hourly or even the 15-minute, you realize that, you're tall enough to ride that ride. So, anyway, Jeff, if you're still out there listening, at least give me a message in the chat box. I see it says you logged out, which you didn't even say goodbye. And I was talking, so I couldn't get to the chat box to say hi to you. So, anyway, I still love you. All right, Michael, I hope mute and let you have it, brother.
Okay. All right. Well, let me flip it back. I just want to point this out. You see how we have lower highs and higher lows? So it's going to get into an area in here that's really messy. Okay? And then eventually, hopefully by the end of the afternoon, it'll break out of these one way or the other. And it should go back down to the lowest low or back up to the highest high. All right? My bet would be probably back up to the highest high. But we'll see. I'm going to flip it back to a 4-tick range here for right now. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 12th day of June, 2017. Okay. So if you have not taken a free trial with us, just go to the homepage here at CFRN.net, and up here in the very top, this little banner is going to fall down, and it just says click here. You just click there, and now we've reduced this so that you just have to put in your email and your first name. That's all. You hit submit. That's going to send you a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link. Once you click the confirmation link, then we will be notified that you wanted to take the trial. At that point, we can start sending you all the information you're going to need to get into that fabulous week. Luxurious 5-day free trial. All right, spreadsheet, this one. Okay, today, again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom of it. Today, the 12th, we made 12 ticks in crude and 3 ticks in gold. Put us at 150. Okay. Today, it took us 48 minutes and 4 opportunities to get to $100 per contract. And, yeah, and we took a total of 8. Okay, so on the month now, we're at 891 and a quarter. That's over 8 days, averaging 111 per day. Okay, scroll down here on the year now, 17,026. That's over 109 days, averaging 156 per day. And that's trading one contract, 2 hours per day. And it's one contract at a time, 2 hours per day. Okay, let's get into what happened now. Okay, here we go. I missed this one right here. I missed this one right here because I was looking for somebody's phone number for Dwayne. I wish I would have gotten that. We would have gotten our goal on that one, but we picked up this one right here. We got 5 ticks on that. Then we got 6 ticks down here to give us the goal for the day. That was, I think that's really good, 6 ticks. Yeah, we got 6 ticks there to put us at plus 11. Then we stopped out there, back down to plus 3. We didn't do anything else with gold. And during the break, it looks like there was a whole bunch of nothing during the break. Okay, the euro now. We started out here on the euro, right here, stopped out. Okay, and it pulled back. Right here, we got back to break even. And then right here, we had a break even. So that was pretty much it. And look at how flat the euro has been since then. Just a flat mess. Crude. Right here, there was nothing. Right over here, on crude, what did we get? 4 ticks profit on that. Then right here, 8 ticks profit. Okay. Then that was pretty much it. Yeah, that was pretty much it. It was during the break. Actually, this was not during the break. Oh, I know why I didn't do this. I didn't do this because I really wanted to see it. I really wanted to see it trending up above this level right there. Okay, and you see it got up to that level, and then it just collapsed off of it. See, during the break, there was a shorting opportunity right there, and also a daily double, if I recall correctly. Yes. Okay, and that was it on the crude. We ended with plus 12 on the crude. The YM, we had just the one somewhere. Break even right there. Okay, there was one here that we missed, and I think there was one more that we missed right there. All right. During the break, it was a bounce off the BBC right there, and that was about it. All right, the ES, we were just looking at the ES a minute ago. Let me pull this back a little bit, and you can see I drew these on the 15-minute. We'll take a look at that in just a minute here. Okay. I think, yeah, there was only one thing that I pointed out on the ES, and it was right here. There was a bounce off the BBC there. Yeah, there was nothing else in there that you could have done. On the short side, you could have taken a bounce off the BBC here. And yeah, that's about it on the ES. Okay, so let me just jump back into this other thing really quick. And yeah, this one. This one right here. All right. So on June 12th, we're plus 12 on crude, plus 3 on gold, 150 total. Today it took 48 minutes and 4 trades to get $200 contract, and 8 total on the morning session. All right. So on the month now, 891.25. That's over 8 days, averaging 111 a day. That is one contract, 2 hours. 17,026 on the year. That's over 109 days, averaging 156 per day. Again, if you're gonna read this, you gotta read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. And to take our free trial, just go here to the homepage at CFRN.net and watch. This thing falls down right here. Bang. All you gotta do is click there, put in your email and your first name. You don't even ask for your last name up front anymore. All right. Just put in your email and your first name.
When you click
that's
that,
all we need. And you will then be able to come in and take a free trial with us. All right. And with that, Dwayne, you can take it back out to Fabulous.
When you went to apply, what page did it take you to?
When I went to click here, it took me to.
No, when you go, no, try the apply. Does it take you? Does that take you to the apply page?
It does take me to apply.cfrn.net. Yep.
Okay, so can you bring it up for me? I just want to take a look.
Here it is.
Yeah. See, I took that page offline. I don't understand why it's coming up.
Let me do this.
Control R or Control F5.
Oh.
See, it deposits a cookie on your hard drive. So it serves what I found on my phone yesterday was if I used my Safari browser, it brought up a different one.
I don't know why. When I go to CFRN.net, it's going right to Emini Tuesday.
Yeah, just go to apply. Just go to apply.cfrn.net.
There we go. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Try Control F5. That's not going to get rid of the cookie though.
No, I did do control R as well.
You know, let me check from my side. Maybe I've sent 100% of the traffic to the wrong page. That would be charming. No, mine comes up with the other one.
Okay.
Go. There. Yeah, John, we'll be with you in just a second. You know that thing I showed you to do with the F yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you pull your browser off screen and try that?
Neither one of those worked for me yesterday.
Yeah, okay, but I explained to you in one of the mini
text messages.
Yeah, they changed the format from HTM to HTML. They're joining the 20th century. Okay, so it's definitely not the one that you're showing is F. Do it with a B.
Hang on, I'm still looking for it. I was looking for it on my phone, but it was actually in an email.
Yeah, no, just do what you did and insert what I told you yesterday. Insert the letter B.
Hang on, I'm gonna sort through the hundreds of emails here
Yeah.
to find one from you yesterday.
Apparently, once that cookie is set, even if you change the page, it's not going to change what somebody sees.
It was not that one. That one.
Not working for you, huh?
Hang on, I'm still looking for it.
Oh, were you looking for the email?
Yeah, I'm looking for the email.
Oh, you don't need the email here. Let me just text you.
Here it is. I think. You gonna put it in the chat?
I'm gonna send it to your phone.
Okay.
Okay, there it goes. Now I spaced it out so it doesn't turn it into that image. So you gotta tighten it all up.
Okay.
But that's gotta work.
Slash.
Now, I don't know how full my schedule is.
Yep, that worked.
Yeah, I don't know how full my schedule today is with entering sessions, but if at all possible, later in the afternoon, can you try to make time for about a 30-minute meeting?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Just let me know when.
Okay.
My last mentoring session is usually done at 5:30 Eastern. But I haven't even checked the calendar today, so I don't know what I got ahead of me. All right, buddy. Well,
Okay.
Oh, recap of the recap.
48 minutes, 4 trades, $100 per contract.
48 minutes, 4 trades. He reached the
100.
daily goal. Okay, guys? Now, this is so important that you understand. We use one contract in the live training room because new students are always going to try to copy the teacher. Okay? And the last thing in the world a new person needs to do is to trade 10 or 20 contracts because you're not psychologically prepared for it yet. You might have the money because you sold your business or cashed in your 401k, but just because you have the money, just because you have money in an account somewhere does not make you a trader, all right? So we use one contract, and whatever results you see that we produce is done inside of 2 hours. That doesn't mean that you have to, rush around and be careless and try to get it all done in 2 hours. In fact, the gentleman I spoke with on Friday, I was so taken with the amount of patience and discipline that he has. As we were talking about things that we could do to create higher probability setups. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect trade. It doesn't matter how many things you got pointing north or south. There's no guarantee it's going north or south, and I hope you all know that by now. But you can, stack the deck in your own favor. You can create an extremely high probability trade setup. And he says, you know what, Dwayne? He says, I got plenty of time and I got plenty of patience. He said, I don't mind waiting. Now, I know for some people, it's not quite that simple because they get up early to trade before the market opens because they still got to punch in at the day job. And so for you guys who do that, I have so much respect for you. And for the guys who have plenty of time yet still have the patience, I have so much respect for you. So all partners will benefit from listening to the mentoring session that was recorded Friday and is in the members area in the mentoring library. Okay, there's not a partner out. Even Michael would benefit from just hearing the calm, steady hand that I was talking to. Although he's new to futures, he's not new to trading. Okay. All right, Michael. Well, thank you for everything, my friend. And we're going to go to our good friend John now, the Stock Whisperer. John, sorry to keep you waiting. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Hello.
Hey, are you there?
Hi. Yeah, fine. Yeah, hi.
Okay, great.
Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon to you. Did you have a good weekend?
Thanks. Actually, it was a good weekend because the Brits did very well.
Yeah.
I still have the chart.
They won the World Cup, the under 20, for the first time in 51 years. That's the first World Soccer event they won.
In 151 years?
No, in 51 years.
In 51 years, okay.
Yeah.
And isn't that like the home of soccer, or is that Brazil?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it really is. We're long. The Brits are long overdue to win a World Cup.
It's like the Americans not winning the World Series. Yeah.
Right. Well, speaking of the Americans Cup, kind of interesting. The Kiwis are really a serious threat to winning the World Cup, the America's Cup, and taking it back down under.
That's the New Zealand team, correct?
Right.
Okay.
And they capsized last week before they even started, so they lost one race, and they haven't lost too many races. I think between the U.S. and Kiwis, I think they've lost three races apiece. So they're very evenly matched. But right now, the Britain has been eliminated, and France has been eliminated, and I think Japan has been eliminated. So there's only Sweden with a yacht called Artemis, catamaran, and the Kiwis that are dueling it out for the right to challenge for the America's Cup, which is going to be a one-on-one race. So the winner of this championship, is the finals that's going on this week, will eventually challenge the U.S. a week or two later. And I think we'd prefer to see the Swedes win and beat the Kiwis, because these Kiwis are very sneaky. They managed to win by 1 second yesterday, which is, I think, the closest finish in the history of the entire series ever. 1 second. And so you can imagine, I mean, they were literally a boat length from one or the other winning, which was very unfortunate. If the Swedes had won, I think it would have been a huge confidence booster for them, and it would have put them more or less on an equal setting with the Kiwis. But it looks like, actually, I think it's just starting right about now, today's race. But it's been pretty exciting. The wind was pretty strong the last few days, and these yachts, they are really the creme, the absolute state-of-the-art racing machines ever designed or ever seen on water, and they are traveling at 50 miles an hour, 45 knots, up to 50 knots. So that's actually up to 55 miles an hour, which is amazing. and it is kind of dangerous when the winds are very strong. Because in the last championship, the last America's Cup, somebody got killed in San Francisco Bay when one of the yachts capsized. So, but they were actually bigger yachts. These are a little bit more manageable, but they're all identical. So it's kind of like an F1 race. It's like a race, very similar. Where all the F1 cars are basically fairly similar. The other good news is the Lewis Hamilton won in Canada the 6th time he's won out of 10 Grand Prix in Canada. Won his first Grand Prix there. This guy's amazing. He has the second highest pole sitter now in history of F1. But he's won more poles and more races in less or more titles, if you like, in less races than anybody else in history. And if he keeps going at this rate, probably before the end of the year, he'll be the all-time champion, bar none. Both in poles, he's only 3 points away now, 3 poles away from becoming the all-time pole winner, and he's maybe 10 or 20 races away from being the all-time race champion. So he's a pretty formidable character, and he led from start to finish yesterday in a kind of an epic race. Actually, it was a very, very good race, so it was a good day for the Brits yesterday, and it's been a good day for the market rebounding today.
And what about that route Friday afternoon?
Well, we actually, I would have loved to have got on back on with you because it was a pretty dramatic day. I mean, it's a day like no other. We've never had a day like this where what caused the rally shortly after we were talking, the market bottomed. Sometimes when you get a bottom between about 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you get two kinds of bottoms. You get the sort of hour and a half before the finish bottom, or you get one in the last 20 minutes that sometimes can be a ripper. And this one happened just after about 2:30, and Amazon spiked down dramatically, almost to a full 10% correction, and then came roaring back up, and that kind of gave the confidence to the market to snap back. And we caught those lows really well. We got back into NVIDIA as low as about 143.5, rode it all the way up to over 150, and we sold it. And we bought back in this morning, believe it or not, we bought back in again at about a 143 area. And we got into a number of other issues as well, including LABU, which we just got out of a 50.5, and it's down to 49.6. The metals are actually, I believe they're turning right here. I think we've seen the bottom is in right here on the silver potentially, and the gold. I really like the way the gold is setting up here. It's kind of come back to its previous liftoff point, and it appears poised for some really good upside. And the nugget, the JNUG, which is the junior sector, is actually outperforming the nugget today, which is a kind of a good sign that the bottom is in, and it's already broken out of a downtrend, and I consider that to be a pretty good sign. We're just starting to see a turn up on the platinum as well, and if we get a turn up on the palladium and the copper, that sort of seals the deal. But right now the gold is a buy. We just actually put out a buy around about 1267. It's at 1269 right now, and got the silver just down near the lows around 1692 to 1695. So I'm very, very pleased with everything that we've been doing. In fact, remember we talked about the grains topping out on Friday. They've been taking a real hit here again.
Now, Friday we had the WASDE report, and WASDE is to ag what the Fed announcement is to Wall Street. That was one of the quietest WASDE reports I think I've seen in a long time, if not ever. It's this candle right here that I'm pointing at.
They're usually pretty violent.
Yeah,
But,
they really are.
that may be a sign that we're actually, kind of getting into a bullish mode. Although this is a pullback that I think when it turns, you want to get back long again. And this could be a prelude. Look, you've got the Fed here.
Do we have the Fed this week?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, people are saying they're going to raise rates. I can't really see it.
That's
honestly.
what I keep hearing.
I'd be, and I think if they don't raise rates, it's probably going to help the market. It's kind of a win-win. If they raise rates, you can argue it's bullish for the market, bullish for the metals.
If they raise rates, it's a signal that the economy's healthy. If they don't raise rates, well, that's its own special treat,
That's the general idea, but it's really anything these days that gives them an excuse to buy is really what happens, and if they can turn it into a especially after this pullback. I just don't think the Fed are going to stick it to the market after this is happening today. But remember we said a week or two ago that after the first drop of 500 and we had the rally up, it might be actually healthy to get another break. This break from a Dow standpoint is nothing. It's nothing. It's not even hardly a pullback actually from the highs.
Right.
The Nasdaq is the one that's pulling back. But in the larger scheme of things, if we bottom out here in the next few days, potentially on a Fed announcement or something, and start going up again, I think that actually sets the stage for a very strong finish into the end of the month. Because if the market turns back up and we start taking out the recent highs, we start getting into the frenetic stage of the market, where it becomes very volatile, but also the momentum could resume with a almost a stronger momentum than anything we've seen. We could go into an accelerating stage or a parabolic stage to the upside. And if you look at some of these, today, remember we've been talking about GILD. That opened higher this morning. We actually sold it, and we suggested holding it overnight on Friday, and it worked out pretty well. We're actually one of the few stocks that opened higher today. Now we're turning down. I think this market's in trouble for the rest of the day. Honestly, it's, the way we're turning down here after this early rally is not very constructive, unless we have another late rally right into the close, which doesn't look very likely at the moment. So I would think that that's kind of the state of play.
You were talking about the grains just a moment ago, John. On the alerts that we sent out last night to those that are grandfathered in and to the current clients on the soybeans, we recommended selling 937. Our first drop was for 4 points, at $50 a point, so that's $200. Great way to start the week if you're trading soybeans.
The wheat is down a lot, and the energy is down a lot as well. I think you're probably making money off the energy.
Well, I'm going to go look at the crude here next, and then you always hear me say important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So we pull back, we get above 937, which resets the stage for an entirely new trade, and down we go. And this time we drop 6 points at $50 per point per contract. So to all of you that were trading the bean alert, that bell's for you. All right, let me go over to crude, GCLN 7, and see what's going on over there. Now, remember, guys, these zones are...
I have to duck out for a minute, Dwayne, okay?
You got to duck out? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
These are last week's zones. Again, I won't put up this week's zones until Thursday. because of, the partners. Last week's zones. If you become a partner, you will also get the new zones at 6:15 a.m. Eastern every Monday morning, while Wall Street's still stumbling around trying to get their pants on. Okay, London opened 3 o'clock last night on Crude. Now remember, for stock traders in London, I don't know if you know this, but in London there is a walled off little area called the City of London, inside London, and that's their version of our Wall Street. They ring their bell at 3 a.m. Eastern, and Crude opened the session. Now, keep in mind, the London traders had not had a chance, from a stock perspective, to react to the rout we saw Friday afternoon because the London exchange had already closed. And so last night at 3 a.m., I had cautioned everyone on the blog, be prepared because we don't know how the guys at London are going to react. So Crude opened at 45.90, and in the first 30 minutes put in a high at 46, and then closed the first 30-minute candle at 45.73. So, not that big a deal. And then in the second half hour, it found terra firma and rallied up and put in the first swing high today was 46.70. Go ahead, John. Oh, I thought I heard you were back. Okay. All right. So 46.70, and the swing low was 45.65. I will tell you this. We came very close to a zone here and didn't hit it, and we came very close to a zone here and didn't hit it. So we'll make of that whatever we can make of that. And I'm trying to tread water here for a minute to see if John's going to pop back in or not. Sometimes those phone calls take a while. Now, the NQ, let's go ahead, since that was so dramatic on Friday. Well, let me point this out to you. While I've got the indicators on a 30-minute chart, those of you that are in the live training room every day, or maybe you're on a trial, or maybe you've been there in the past, you recognize these indicators. These are the exact same indicators. Bearish cross, price pulls away, price pulls back to physically touch the BBC, down close, sell the open of the next candle. Now the open of that candle was 56.98, and then the swing low was 56.43. There was your daily goal 4 times in a row. John, are you back? John, are you back? I keep hearing noises, but it's not him. So then what do? We revert to the mean one more time, come back, touch the BBC. Remember, we're still operating, looking for short trades until we get a bullish cross. Price once again comes back, touches the BBC, down close, sell the open of the next candle. And this candle opened at 57.02. It's actually the open of the next candle minus 1 tick. So 57.02 down to 56.75. So that's 27 ticks, $270 per contract available right there. And on this one, from the open at 98 to the low at 62. Well, if it was 58, it would be 40. It's about $380 per contract available. Okay. John, I just keep checking. 'Cause I know he hates to interrupt once he comes back if I'm yakking, but all right. let's just move forward. And if he pops back in, he pops back in. Okay. All right. Couple headlines, things you might need to know about. Guess who's in the headlines again today? Oh, not Uber. Uber's board. John, that you? Uber's board has unanimously agreed to all of the company's culture fixes. Ex-U.S. Attorney General Holder submitted his report into Uber to the company's board. So they're going to fix it all. Now, last week it was revealed that at one of the company picnics a couple years ago, Travis sent out a memo to all the employees suggesting that it might be better if they didn't have sex at the company picnic. You think? At Travis, he's one smart guy. Microsoft has announced the Xbox One X as its most powerful Xbox yet. It costs $500 in the United States and can play 4K games. Of course, my son, he's sort of poverty stricken. He only has the Xbox 360, which in its day was pretty state of the art because it had this little camera that could see you, and you could play all these games. You could go canoeing, and it was crazy. Uber's longtime CBO is reportedly going to resign on Monday. Wow, the exodus from this company has been amazing. Emil Michael has played a pivotal but controversial role at the transportation firm. The creator of Android explained how his new phone can take on Apple and Samsung. Business Insider spoke to Andy Rubin, who is now the CEO of Essential. So, we saw the Fire phone try to make it, but the iPhone and the Google phones are so entrenched, the Android phones. Andy Rubin is best known as the guy who created Android, sold it to Google, and nurtured it into the most popular smartphone operating system on the planet. I think that's an opinion. But Rubin left Google back in 2014, and now he's on his own. His latest gig is Essential, a startup he runs as CEO that's trying to become a new kind of gadgets company. Starts with a phone called the Essential PH1. John? And the plan is to expand into smart appliances and cars from there. If you're trying to come in, it's not happening, so just maybe hang up and give a call back. Rubin spoke Wednesday at the Wired Business Conference in New York and shed a bit more light on Essential's plans. After the Essential phone launches this summer, the company plans to release Home, a voice-controlled hub for all the connected appliances in your house. As you know, my wife is a reviewer of the Internet of Things, and so she's already received, direct from China, some little gadgets, and she is able to turn them on and off with her cell phone, which I thought was really cool. And I said, I wonder if you could turn this on and off from the other side of the world. So I said, watch it, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. So I took her phone and I walked down to the mailbox, which is, 75 yards. I tried to turn it on and off. Not until I got back under the Wi-Fi umbrella of the office and studios of CFRN was she able to turn the gadget on and off. Now, I don't know if that's because of a setting, but it would be really cool if you're on a plane and remember you forgot to turn the oven off and you can turn it off. John, I know I keep hearing you in the background, brother, but we cannot hear you, not a word. Try calling in again, okay? Rubin claims Home will be compatible with the wide variety of smart home platforms ranging from Apple's HomeKit to Samsung's SmartThings, even though it'd take a wild level of technical wizardry to pull it off. I think he's the guy that might have the right stuff. Many are skeptical. He calls the new platform Ambient OS. Ambient is the new popular thing for relaxing and going to sleep. Beyond that, Rubin teased that he'd like Essential to tackle the car, which is increasingly coming into focus as an area of growth for tech companies. Now, go back and listen to some of the first episodes of CFRN 2005, and you'll hear me getting laughed at as I talked about how the day was coming. Now, this was pre-iPhone. The day was coming that the car would have internet. They would roll off the assembly line with internet. And I had a couple of engineer friends explain to me how that was practically impossible because of it would, they said you would have to fill up the entire trunk with gear to make such a thing work that you could be rolling down the highway and connect to the internet. There's cars rolling off the assembly line today. On the dashboard, you can select tune in radio. You can type in one time CFRN, pops right up, Prosperity for God's People. Save it as a favorite. Every time you turn it on, hit tune in radio. Right there on the screen is our little logo. Hit it and go. As you know, we stream 24/7. Okay, I'm patting myself on the back. I got it right once. Questions remain how the Essential phone, which costs $699, can find success in a market dominated by Apple and Samsung. Business Insider and some other members of the press spoke with Rubin following his Wired talk. I just got to... My wife, she reviews all kinds of things. Of late, it's really been about the Internet of Things. But the other night in the kitchen, she said, hey, do you want a free subscription to Money Magazine and Wired? I go, do I have to review it? She goes, well, yeah, you got to tell me what you think. I go, okay, sure. I mean, every time she opens her inbox, it's just crammed full of stuff that people want her to review. John, the sound of you in the background, I know the noises. I've known you for so many years, but we can't hear you, brother. We hear the occasional sporadic background noise, but I don't know. I'm just going to trust that when you dial back in and we have a good connection, you'll just start talking. You won't be hesitant or anything. Just jump in there. Business Insider and some other members of the press spoke with Rubin following his Wired talk. Okay, that's why I brought up Wired. Here's a transcript of the conversation, which has been edited for length and clarity. So I'll just hit the high points. You were talking a lot about how you're really confident you're going to be able to stitch all the various platforms together with Ambient. Andy said, I didn't say I was confident, I said I was going to do it. Another reporter said, if I'm understanding it correctly, especially with Apple, it's actually impossible. What they allow people to build into now doesn't allow what you want to do. Does this thing fall apart if they say no to you? Rubin says you have to understand this approach. There's a client and a server. And what Apple has with HomeKit is a bunch of individual consumer electronics companies enabling HomeKit with their products. I don't know what the percentages are, but they don't all only speak HomeKit. They speak a whole lot of other stuff as well. And what Apple is trying to do is trying to be the screen that drives these things. And that's excluding anybody in Android land or Windows, which is such a small percentage of the market, from driving those things. So the natural effect will be for those companies to support other products as well, and they're the ones that are plugging into Apple's appies. So the trick that I talked about on stage is I can produce the same appies, and I can call it Essential Kit. And those exact appies, the exact same ones that someone has already developed for their Sonos thing or whatever, I'm compatible with. Reporter. But isn't that just another product like Samsung's Smart Things? Reuben. No. No. You know what this is? This is like Windows emulation on a Mac. This is Windows emulation for IoT, Internet of Things. Appies for all these people who are building these islands. And if I emulate 8 things and turn it on, I control 100,000 devices. And, you know, the interview goes on for quite some time, so I'm going to let it go there. Just Google Andy Rubin press conference, and you'll get the swing of things. Now, the Essential phone is different from a modular phone. From the consumer point of view, it's I'm getting this phone, and I can snap a camera on, I can snap on a better battery. Does it matter if it's magnetic or not? Reuben, that's a good question. It's 2 things. It's kind of the core to the way we designed this from a product design perspective. The first one is what's modular. Google's era was the definition of modular, which is you can remove a core component of the phone like its processor and replace it with a faster one. We're not doing that. You buy a phone, the phone works great as a phone, we're adding stuff onto it. So that's why I prefer accessory bus as an example. So that's modular versus accessory. And I could go on, but I'm not going to, because I think you get the drift. I'm confident, because you are the smartest audience in talk radio. Apple's laying the groundwork for a more advanced Apple TV. Yeah, that little hockey puck has not changed in quite a long time. It now supports high efficiency video coding. And by the way, the Kodi experience, if you buy that Amazon Fire Stick and install the Kodi software, I had a guy do it the other day. I had decided I wasn't even going to do it. It was just too aggravating, too frustrating. But he did it. It took him about 10 minutes. And here's the problem. You go to watch a TV show, you go to watch a movie, you never know what you're going to get. Yesterday we were going to watch the new Pirates of the Caribbean, but the 4 versions available were all in Chinese subtitles. So that's kind of a no-starter. We were, over the weekend, however, able to watch the 2nd season of Home Fires, only to find out the show's been canceled. And I gotta tell you, the Internet of People are ticked off. I mean, they're angry villagers with torches and pitchforks because everybody loves that show. And the cliffhanger ending of season 2 is so riveting. It's like, how could you possibly not bring back this for at least a 3rd and final season? And so producers are encouraging everyone to write in to Masterpiece Theater and beg, plead, bribe, whatever it takes. We gotta finish the story. And if you haven't seen season 1 and 2, I want you to, so you can be as ticked off as I am. Okay? All right. Samsung just unveiled the... God, John, that sounds so much like you. Yep, I hear you. I hear you peeping in the background, but brother, we just cannot hear you. Have you tried dialing back in? Maybe Bert can bring you in on a different line. When he answers, say, is it possible to patch me through on a different line? Because the audience can't, Dwayne can't even hear me. I can hear you usually when the audience can't, but we're just... Let me send a text to Bert real quick. Let me see if he's got any ideas. you patch John on a different line, please? We can't hear him. Thank you so much for your kindness. We appreciate it so much. And he hit send. Okay, hopefully they will. Samsung just unveiled the wildest computer monitor you can buy. It has a 49-inch display. Well, I've been running 47 inches of digital madness for, gosh, what, 4 years now? Let's look under the hood. When I first tried an ultra-wide monitor in 2016, I was hooked because of its applications in both gaming and productivity. I'm not a gamer. Ultra-wide monitors are a relatively new category of monitors that are indeed wider than regular ones. But on Friday, Samsung introduced the CHG90, the first monitor in the new super ultra-wide category, and it's outrageously wide. The CHG90 has an aspect ratio of 32:9. For comparison, ultra-wide monitors have a 21:9 aspect ratio, and normal monitors have a 16.9 aspect ratio. The CHG90 is part of Samsung's gaming line of monitors that comes with specs and features that gamers can appreciate, like quick response times and AMD's FreeSync 2 technology. Check out the CHG90 and see for yourself how crazy this thing is. Now, that quick response time, as a trader, that is really important. It's sort of like a fictitious number that they tell you, like some of them have 200,000 to 1 and some have 5 million to 1. It's like a meaningless statistic. You can't prove it, and it changes nothing. Now, you've known my story for years, is that if you take the TV tuner out of a big screen TV, it suddenly becomes a very expensive computer monitor. However, if you just go to Walmart and get a 55-inch TV and say, by the way, leave the tuner in so I can afford it at $400, you bring it home, you hang it on the wall, it's got a PC input, you're good to go. And I promise you, once you go there, you'll never go back. Now, if you try to buy a 47 or 49-inch computer monitor, you're going to pay a couple thousand, $2,500, $3,000. Yet, I have 47 inches of digital madness that I actually paid a little more for because it was built by Hewlett-Packard and they've stopped making them. So I'm going to see if I can show you a picture of this bad boy, and we'll see how much they want to charge us for it. Now, I gotta admit, that's a wide monitor. Okay, that's more like something you would put on your desktop as opposed to mine, which hangs across the office on the opposing wall, and the cables, run through the wall. Here's from a different angle. I don't know that I'm so crazy about that. It's curved, which helps keep the outer edges in your peripheral vision. Without the curve, you'd probably be turning your head constantly, which could get uncomfortable after a while. See, mine's not stretched out like this. Mine looks like a standard 47-inch flat panel TV. Has a 178-degree viewing angle. Here's what a game looks like in the regular 16:9 aspect ratio. I'm not a gamer, so that doesn't really affect me. And here's what it looks like on the new, well, I gotta admit, if I was playing games, that would be an immersive experience, to say the least. A video loop playing included some gameplay of Battlefield 1. I'll be sure to test the claims when I get my hands on it for review. Apart from the advantage of the extra field of view, its width and curves look as if they could suck you in for immersive gameplay. You could even play a game on one half of the screen and keep the other half open for something else. How much? That's what I want to know. Let's cut to the chase here. The response time of 1 millisecond, that's very good. Oh, the refresh rate, that is very, very important. And that bogus number, I'm glad to see that they didn't even throw that in. They're not going to tell us how much it is, are they? $1,500. I'm actually surprised. Now, that's 3 times what you can buy a 55-inch TV at Walmart for. But if you want it stretched out like that, and you want to pay 3 times the price, I mean, think about it. You could go to Walmart and you could get 3 55-inch TVs for this price and hang them end to end on the wall across from your desk. Oh, and the ones you get from Walmart, if you ever want to watch TV, you can. This bad boy does not have a TV tuner in it. Okay, enough picking on the new monitor. Let's see what we got left in the way of important headlines, and then we'll go to our good word for the day. Jaguar Land Rover is investing in Lyft. Its mobility services business in motion is investing $25 million in the car-hailing firm. Apple is offering podcast creators info on their listeners. Oh, is that right? Axios, the tech firm, will give creators access to analytics. We've never had that before. Now, I began podcasting way back in 2005, before it was cool to be in podcasting. And by the way, I don't ask for much, and I haven't asked lately, but if you were to drop by the Apple iTunes store and you were to search Emini, CFRN would pop up in first place. And if you clicked on it, you could leave us a review. It would be much appreciated. At one time, we had 70-something reviews, and then one day I opened it up and we had like 25. And you're not allowed to call and ask them anything or question anything. It's like most of those trading rooms out there where you can't question the all-knowing, all-seeing guru. So I just had to accept it. But reviews help us, you know. A 5-star review really helps. So there's 2 ways to find our podcast. You can get there another way too. You can just use Google Chrome and type in Christian Financial Radio Network podcast iTunes, and it'll take you to a page. But I think in order to leave a review, you click it and it has to open iTunes. So it might be easier to do from your phone or your tablet. But if you do it, I'd appreciate it. Oh, and no matter which way you enjoy the show each day, we're approaching 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, youtube.com/CFRN. Now on our Google Plus, we're over 1,000. In fact, let me just say this. I've been meaning to for a long time. I have a ton of people who are in the holding pen on the Google Plus forum blog that want to become active members. But every one of the people that I've not approved, there's something shaky or shady about your name or about your picture. Some of you have naughty names. Some of you, don't put a real picture up. You put up some kind of symbol or something. And so I don't know what you're hiding from. And so until you put up a real name like Dave Smith and you show a picture of a real person, you're not going to get approved. And some of you have been there since the day we first opened the Google Plus blog, but I'm just not comfortable. I mean, if you're going to be a part of our community, I want to know who you are. I want to be able to kind of check you out a little bit. I think that's only fair. So if you're wondering why that guy won't ever approve me, well, now you know. Go clean up your profile, and you'll be more well received, not only by me, but by all people across the internet. I know that in the beginning of the internet, we all hid behind screen names and Iron Maiden 38 and all this kind of stuff. And by the way, if you're out of college and into the job market, you might want to consider changing your email address from hotchick@hotmail.com to something a little more professional. Okay? Not telling you how to run your life, just a friendly word of advice. Okay? The best option is to use your name. Now, if you have a common name, it's probably already gone. Me, being the early adopter that I am, I snagged Dwayne Reeves at Gmail and Yahoo and Facebook and Twitter and DwayneReeves.com, DwayneReeves.biz, DwayneReeves.us, DwayneReeves.net. Mostly because I just didn't want anybody else to have it. So, that's all. It's not that I'm that fond of myself. Okay, we're almost done with headlines. Mercedes has created the bus of the future. The semi-autonomous vehicle is called the Future Bus. What else would you call the bus of the future? Mercedes-Benz wants to bring autonomous transportation to the masses. Last year, the company's semi-autonomous bus, called the Future Bus, drove a little more than 12 miles from Amsterdam's airport to Haarlem, a city just outside of Amsterdam. If you've never been to Amsterdam, it's quite an experience. It's a place I should have gone in my 20s, not in my 40s, but I'll leave it at that. The bus's journey was especially impressive because the route included traffic lights, tunnels, and required the bus to navigate around people. Mercedes is betting self-driving buses like its Future Bus will grow in demand as urban populations continue to increase and more public transportation is needed. We are living in an increasingly urban world. Cities are home to more than 50% of the world's population, and the number keep increasing rapidly. Just give me one moment, please. Oh, sorry about that. It's kind of tough around here with the AC out. If more and more people eat, sleep, and work in cities, a number of big challenges emerge. One major challenge is to move all these people and to move them fast, safely, and comfortably. This means we need attractive public transportation. Hello? Here's a closer look at some of the self-driving Future Bus and how it works. I don't think we need to go through all this. It can recognize traffic lights, steer through tunnels. It recognizes pedestrian and bicyclists. God, I would hope so. Can be programmed to navigate into the bus stop with incredible precision. City Pilot enables the bus to pull in so that there is less than 10 centimeters between the bus and the curb, making it easier for passengers to get on and off. Right now, the Future Bus has a top speed of 43 miles per hour and is programmed to operate in bus-only lanes. These lanes are usually easier to navigate because traffic is less complex. To perform such driving tasks, the bus uses camera systems, radar sensors, and GPS. Hey, let me ask you a question. I was talking to a guy at church yesterday who used to be a long haul semi driver. He's out of that business, but we all know or have been told that the first wide adoption of this driverless vehicle is going to be semi trucks. Now, the first time you look up in your rearview mirror as you're tooling down the freeway and you see a semi bearing down on you in the rearview mirror with no driver at the wheel, what are you going to do? I'm going to pull over. I just, call me chicken. I don't know. I guess we'll all get used to it. Our grandchildren will laugh that we once had to actually drive ourselves somewhere. How plebeian. Okay. So that's everything you need to know. Except, I'm not even going to go into the Comey thing. Good Lord, we've heard enough about Russia and Comey, and it's sad. But the president has a country to run. And I just don't even want to be a part of it anymore. I don't want to be a part of the distraction. You're either part of the problem or part of the solution. I'm going to figure out some way to be a part of the solution. I don't know how to do that. Today, our good word for the day talks about maintaining your peace. Footnote, thanks to Cody, I did see The Shack this weekend. And I liked the book, and I really liked the movie. Because, the book made God sound kind of like Aunt Jemima. No offense to anyone. But the way it was portrayed in the movie, in my opinion, was quite different. So, I don't know. It should be on Netflix soon enough. You'll have a chance to see it. So, how do we maintain our peace in a world gone mad? Psalm 34:14 says, search for peace and then work to maintain it. You can maintain a peaceful state of mind wherever you go and whatever you do. How is that possible, you ask? The Bible says, search for peace and work to maintain it. To enjoy a life of peace, you must first recognize what's stealing your peace. The enemy uses many of the same tactics on everyone, but we each have particular issues. For example, one person may be disturbed by having to do 2 or 3 things at a time, while another person might be energized by fielding several projects at once. We're all different. And we must learn to know ourselves. The enemy studies you carefully and knows which buttons to push. Funny, we mentioned buttons last week. How can you keep the enemy or anyone at office, at church, or even at home from pushing your buttons? Get rid of your buttons. Use zippers and Velcro. They'll have a hard time pushing your button then. Or getting your goat. Joyce Meyer writes, I can endure things better when I'm not tired. So the enemy waits to attack me when I'm worn out. I've learned by pursuing peace what the enemy already knew about me. Now I try not to get overly tired because I know I'm opening a door for him when I do. If you have never read her book, The Battlefield of the Mind, or The Mind is a Battlefield, It's a good read. I read it many years ago, but I think I can still recommend it. When I get overly tired, she says, I know I'm opening a door for him. It will be virtually impossible to enjoy a life of peace if you don't study yourself and know what it is that steals your peace. Keep a list of each time you get upset. Ask yourself what caused the problem. Write it down. Be honest with yourself, or you'll never break free. When we were talking with Jason on Friday, some of you might have heard that little acronym that was thrown in. It's something that's given to people who are going through a program of recovery, as he was. It's called HALT. Never allow yourself to get too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or too tired. Because your defenses are down and the enemy sees that chink in your armor and moves right in with all kinds of bright ideas like, man, you are 31 days sober today. Wow, that is so awesome. It's been years since you went 31 days without a drink. You should celebrate. You deserve a drink. And if you're too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or too tired, you just might fall for the lie. In the middle of life storms, you can be anchored by God's peace, but He won't just drop it into your lap. You have a part to play. Psalm 34:14 from the Amplified. You must seek, inquire for, crave peace, and then pursue and go after it. Psalm 34:14. So if you've lost your peace today, get up, get after it, and get it back. That's one of the promises of God for your life. Jesus made the promise, I will give you peace, the peace that surpasses all understanding. Now, that's a precious gift, so it makes perfect sense that that's what the enemy would want almost more than anything other than your eternal soul to take away from you, your peace. You ever been around people, they're just always so calm, so mellow, just roll with the punches, you know. Things don't go the way they planned, well, they just deal with it, okay? You often wonder, man, are they like that at home behind closed doors? I mean, is that really who they are? I guess in some cases they are, and in others maybe not. But who are you? What sets you off? What gets you going? As suggested in today's devotional, when it happens, jot it down. Yesterday, my peace was stolen a couple times. We were on our way home from church, and I like to come directly home from church, and I'll be honest, I like to get horizontal, and I may not take a nap, but I relax for a couple hours before I go to work, doing all the stuff that Sunday night calls for, like trade alerts and weekly trading zones and all that good stuff. Well, turns out we need to stop by the grocery store. Oh, but you can wait in the car because I just need one item, so I'll be right in and right out. Well, fellas, I know you've all heard that before. But, hey, ain't nothing but a thing, right? And so then, as we're pulling up to the house, we have a neighbor who is shedding a lot of their stuff. And there sits a bookcase that mi esposa says, oh, that will be perfect for Emily's room. I go, yes, if she had a room twice as big. Oh no, it'll fit right. I'm like, you know what? You want it? You got it. So me and Gabe got out, and that sucker was heavy with all the shelves. And we lugged it down the street, and we lugged it up the stairs, and we got it around the corner, and we got it into Emily's room. And the first words out of my wife's mouth was, oh my gosh, that'll never fit in here. What was I thinking? It was so hard not to say, I don't know, dear. But I managed to bite my tongue. And so then we had to get the stairs, the bookcase, back down the stairs. And then my wife said, why don't you take it next door? There's a group home next to us, which is a little unusual because we're in a newer subdivision, and the HOAs usually don't allow that because most of these people are bedridden. You never see them, and so it just goes unnoticed. And so I thought, well, that's a good idea. And so we go over, and the lady that's running the place, she's like the day nurse. We said we wanted to see if you folks could use this in the home, for the benefit of the residents. They may put their books or something, or even Michael, the guy, one of the guys that goes to church with us every Sunday, he could put it in his bedroom, keep his books. And she goes, oh no, there's no room for it in the house. I said, oh, okay, fine. We'll put it back down on the corner where we found it. She says, no. Take it apart and put it in my car. It'll fit in my house. And I looked at my son and he looked at me and I said, could I hear you say those words again? She goes, yes. Please disassemble and place in my car. The enemy was working overtime to get at my piece. I said, ma'am, I'll be happy to loan you a screwdriver. And I came to the house and I got a screwdriver. My wife says, what's going on? And I said, and I told her, and she said, oh, we'll give it here. I'll go do it. I'm like, okay, fine. She goes over there, and as she's taking this thing apart with the screwdriver to put it in this lady's car so that she can take it to her own home and use it, the lady says, oh my, it's so hot out here. I'm going to go inside and cool off. Let me know when you're done. My wife had to bite her tongue at that part. She took it apart, she put it in the lady's car. She's a better woman than I am. And so then, now we're down to like an hour or less that I get that little bit of me time where I go horizontal, before I start all the Sunday night work for CFRN. And I noticed that I can't get cool. So I turn on the fan and I point it directly at me, and I still can't get cool. So I go out and look at the thermostat in the hallway. We've got it set on 76 and current temperature is 82. I almost come unglued. Call my buddy from church who owns his own air conditioning company, and I said, man, this is urgent. Last time you were here you charged me $1,500. I said, so I got to be really high on your priority list. My air conditioner, one of them just went out. Please come fix it. It's the one that feeds upstairs. Oh man, I'd love to, but you know, I got appointments all day tomorrow. The earliest I can get there is tomorrow afternoon. I said, Tom, it's Dwayne. Dwayne Reeves. You know, we served together at church. Last time you were here, I cut you a $1,500 check. He goes, well, yeah, I've got your address. I'm like, okay, brother. God bless you. See you tomorrow. I mean, the enemy was just like on some mad attack to steal my peace. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say that he didn't, because he did. I got bitter, angry, stressed. I was probably hungry, angry. Probably felt lonely. I was definitely tired. I mean, but you know what? When that happens, when you have a series of events like that in your life, there's one thing you absolutely, positively never say. You might want to write this down, okay? Oh my God, what could possibly happen next? Well, you're about to find out. You let those words come out of your lips, you're going to find out. And you're going to wish you had not lost your peace and that you had not uttered those words. So, anyway, by the time I finished all my CFRN work and it was 10 p.m., and my wife was in a better frame of mind, and we actually spent a productive hour sitting side by side in our lazy boys, holding hands and watching something. I don't know. But I had an hour of peace. So, just real quick, I want to go back to where it said, in the middle of life's storms, you can be anchored by God's peace, but He won't just drop it into your lap. You have a part to play. You must seek, inquire for, crave peace, get up, and go after it. So, if you, like I yesterday, have lost your peace today, get up, go after it, get it back. It's a promise of God, and if you're a child of God, guess what? It belongs to you, not the enemy. Because see, the enemy's never going to have peace because he knows what his eternal destiny is. So why squander your peace on him, right? Don't let him get your goat and get rid of the buttons. Oh, it's the AC man, Bazelier. I should snap a photo and upload it. See, I'm up here whining. The man pulls up right in front of my house. Go, Tom. Go, Tom. God, I hope it doesn't cost $1,500 again. Jiminy crickets. It was still running. It just wasn't making cool air. I'm assuming that's Freon. I don't know. I'm not air conditionally inclined. All right. Well, I've bored the heck out of you guys so far today. Let's see how much more we can take. I'll run over the alerts with you, and then I'll go out there and tell him how hard life is, and maybe he won't charge me so much. All right, I'm going to switch this. I wanted to show John, but God, what can I do to get him a phone or a headset? All right, I just rolled us to the September contract. Okay? Okay. Last night was June the 11th. Okay? Okay. That right there is the Sunday night Globex Open. 1,800 hours. I sent the alerts out at 6:30. Oh, I got to change this to 30 minutes. There we go. Okay, so that's 1800. I sent the alerts out at 1830. Guys, the air conditioner guy just texted me and asked me to turn on the air conditioner, please. So if you could be so kind as to wait, I'll be right back.
Yeah, Tom is here.
Yeah.
And Mom's up to get that.
Yeah, maybe somebody could let him know. Hi. I didn't give you guys a chance to grab a screenshot yet, so I'm going to get this done and get out of here before I lose my piece. If you're using the go-to application, the camera at the top of the window is a camera. Click it. It will snap a photo and save it to your desktop. I do this for the benefit of those who aren't grandfathered in and those who aren't current Concierge subscribers, so that, I mean, otherwise, how would you know that I was actually telling you what I really sent out last night? Frederick says he cannot hear me. Thank you, Frederick. I forgot to take the mute button off. I drug this out and I said it's so that everybody who's not grandfathered in or who isn't a current subscriber can take a screenshot if they want or jot down their favorite markets, only because, you know, I'm just some guy on the radio. How do you know that's really the email I sent out last night? Well, I've just drug it out in front of all the people who are subscribers, so, I mean, system of checks and balances. Okay. Thank you, Frederick, for the heads up. I appreciate that. Lord only knows how long that would have gone on. Ranting and raving on mute. So maybe it's God telling me I'd be better off on mute today. So, all right, let's do this thing. Remember, these are last week zones. I better write it down. On Thursday, just like last week, I will reveal this week's zones to the general community. Okay? Until then, they're the property of the partners. We wanted to sell 24.24. Okay? What does that look like? Looks a little something like this. Now, you may have heard me say before that important prices in important areas are almost always tested. This would be a pretty good example of that. Okay. Sell 24.24. All right. So the first swing low before a pretty good pullback, that would, you know, if you're trailing your stop, that's probably going to take you out. The swing low is 20.40 and a quarter, so that's 3.75 at $50 per point. Okay, then we get back above the trigger and down we go again. Now, here's a question to ask yourself. On this move, where's your stop going to be? Okay. If your stop's above this swing high, you're going to get stopped out. If your stop's above even this swing high, you don't get stopped out. This was a zone from last week. We know that's important, obviously, because price can't get through it. So, all I'm trying to say is, now, because I wasn't there watching this candle develop, for all I know, it opened here, raced down here, raced all the way back up here, and then came back down here to close here. It's possible. So, now, what if you had put your stop up here? That's 24.30. The trigger's 24.24. That's 6 points. At $50 per point, it's $300 per contract. What's the maximum risk on a Concierge Trade Alert? $300. So you could have placed your stop well out of the way, been within the parameters, and caught this trade. But if you didn't, guess what? It's nothing but a thing. 24.14, 24.24, 24.7, 16.75. Let's round it to 17. So that's 7 points. You either got it or you didn't. Nothing but a thing. Stop here. You're not risking much. You're risking 4 points. So let's call it 5 points. 5 points. You're risking $250. No, you're not risking that much. The swing highs. Yeah, but your triggers here. So from 24 to 27. So you got to stop at 27 because you're trading this. So you're risking $150. And for the $150 risk, potential reward was $17.75. So roll it up to 18, and you've got 6 points at $50 per point. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. 1, 2, 3 opportunities to try to get your points for the day. On the Dow. Control C, maybe on the next page I can just paste it. Okay, June 11th. 1830, that little candle right there. The big idea on the Dow was to be a buyer at 21,205. Say it ain't so. What's the swing high here? 21,205 on the nose. The high here is 21,204, 21,205. Now, again, 21,205. If you put your stop right here, well, you got to stop down. And if you put it down here, that would be more than a $300 risk. That would be closer to a $500 risk. So, that's the truth about trading. That's why you never get too caught up or tied up in any single one trade. Because I don't care how long you waited on it and how perfect it looks. Once you pull the trigger, you have no clue what the outcome is going to be. The outcome of the trade is determined not by you, but by every other trader in the market. If you bought, other traders have to, in fact, more traders have to find their own reason to buy to keep price moving higher to reach your target than sellers find reasons to sell, which causes you to have a drawdown and potentially a stop out. You follow me? Once you realize that you have no power over that, it actually makes the outcome easier to live with. You do your best job. You do your best work. You take the highest probability trade that you can find. Okay? But ultimately, it's a business based on probabilities. If you only take the most high probability trades, at the end of the day, end of the week, end of the quarter, whatever your measuring stick is, well, if they're high probability trades, then you'll have more trades that win in your favor than win against you. But you're going to get stopped out. If you've not read Chapter 7 of Trading in the Zone by my dearly departed friend Mark Douglas, get busy. If you don't own the book, get a hold of me. I will give you the ebook, or not the ebook, the audio book, and his wife will still get her royalty. Okay? If you're a CFRN partner and you haven't read the book, you're behind the curve. You got to get on the same page as the rest of us. Once you have written that truth on the tablet of your heart, that this is a business based on probabilities, it takes the sting out of it. You know, to paraphrase a scripture, "Oh, stop out, where is thy sting?" You know you're going to get stopped out, so why freak out? Why kick the dog? Why yell at the wife? Why throw the monitor? Just look for the next high probability trade. On the sell side, we were looking to sell 211.85. That's going to look a little something like this. That's messy. Sell to 11.85. Now, if these were this week's zones, I wouldn't have sold right into a zone like that, but they're last week's zones. But I probably should have taken into consideration. Yada, yada. Now, from 11.85 up to 230, what is that, 50 points? $5 a point. So if your stop's way up here, you're risking $250. So do you get stopped out? Nope. Alright, what's the swing low here? 211.40. So 45 points available. Points available per contract. Okay, then it gets back above the trigger. Very small risk. And it drops to 1139. We'll call that 40. That's another 45. That's the story of the Dow. Again, we never get out at the swing high or swing low because we trail our stop. On the alerts last night, we suggested being a seller at 937. The first move made 4 points available. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. Second move made 6 points available per contract. And that's not 6 times 500, that's 6 times 50. Okay? All right. Moving right along to the bonds. $18.30. Okay. On bonds, we want to be long above 154.12. There's 154.12. If I didn't know better, it feels like my room is getting cooler. Probably just wishful thinking. Swing highs 21, so that's 9 ticks times 31.25 per tick. Okay. And on the sell side for bonds, we were looking to sell 153.16. No short trigger yet. Coming down pretty strong there. So nasty. No short trigger yet. Okay. We're moving at lightning speed compared to where we were just moments earlier. Okay, let's see if that worked. It did. I thought it would. I knew that. That's what my kids always say. I knew that. They're regular encyclopedias, man. They know everything. The other night I said, throw out the encyclopedias. Emily's home, and she goes, what's an encyclopedia? Okay. Crude oil. No. Gold. GGCQ. Consider being a buyer at 1271. Gold pretty much flatlined on us. I think there might have been a couple of $100 trades in there at best. $1271. Alright, so the first break made $130 per contract available. And the next move up made $140. Is that right? Yeah. $140 per contract available. And the last one, exactly $100. Risk reward ratio does not look good on those. On the sell side, 1267. Swing low, 65.60. $140 per contract. Average gold is just called in sick. And it looks like, oh, I don't know. Did we get it? Did you even get $100 here? No. That didn't even do 100. Okay. And we're stuck between the levels. Alright. Like the day of consolidation I spoke of is coming to pass. Okay. June 11th. 1830. Little doji. All right. So 57.39. Well, that was kind of close. 57.39. No, you can't have my piece. I'm just going to write 57.39. I'm just going to leave the line crooked for once, and we'll see how obsessive compulsive I really am. When I turn the show off, I'll come fix it. Otherwise, I couldn't really. 57.39. 56.78. 739 minus 678. 739 minus 678 equals 61 points times $20 per point equals $1,220 per point. Now, that seems like a lot, all things considered. So let's double check our work here. 57.39. Now you notice I didn't count this swing low because on this pullback, that's when your stop's going to get triggered. So the low of this candle is 678. 739 minus 678. 739 minus 678 times $20 per point equals $1,220 per contract available. Sweet. All right, we only got two more markets, Crude and the Russell. June 11th, 1830. The AC guy just texted me and said you're good to go. I'm explaining to him, sorry, I'm on the radio, trying to earn my daily bread. Sorry, I'm on the radio. He's probably like, guy, I come over to fix his air conditioner, you don't even come out and talk to me. Hopefully my wife or son explain. But yeah, you never know. Okay, spit it out the wing. Crude oil. Sell 45.70. What? Man, now that'll steal your piece. That's just a, well, unless you got a better entry on a 5-minute, this is a walkaway. So, if you don't know what a walkaway is, that's because you've well, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I said, what was it? And he texts back, I know. Oh, he was saying, I know you're on the radio. Yeah, he probably heard me in here grumbling. I'm sorry, Tom. I love you, brother. By 46.05. Okay. Well, at least that had some meat on the bone. Kinda. All right, 46.05. We got up to a high 46.12. $70. $100. $46.05 up to 64. $640 per contract. Now, I know I've told you this before, but the trades that have the least amount of risk typically have the greatest reward. Gotta be patient, man. You gotta be patient. And last but not least, the Russell. Today's been like a double Monday. 2 Mondays wrapped up into one. All right, June 11, 1830. Boy, Russell. Oh, no. 1426, anybody? Oh, that's tragic. 1426, we hit 1427.60. $80. Short side. How embarrassed am I? 1415 down to... Oh, I'm saved by a tick. The low is 1415.1. I feel so vindicated. Well, guys, it's been a bit of a wacky Monday. John playing hide and seek with us. We'll do something different tomorrow. I don't know what, but, you know, we'll figure something out. My buddy Jeff's coming, I think. And Pastor Dave might even make it. You never know. Now, you guys have been incredibly quiet, which is, I don't know, from my end, it's kind of boring. So, you know, pick up the pace, audience, or I'm going to get a different job. I love you, but we're here to learn how to trade. Maybe you already know, so you should be off trading, I guess. All right, I love you all very, very much, despite anything you may have heard otherwise. You are the rocky in my road. All right, guys, listen, I am going to go talk, go write a check to the air conditioning man and tell him how much I appreciate him coming. He said he couldn't come till late this afternoon, so I know he's squeezing me in between appointments, so that's what friends are for. All right, thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.